Hey, what's up YouTube? Optic Ashes here bringing you another video. Today, it's Monday, so that means we are ready for hashtag Ask Ashes. I've got my phone with all the questions as I get more questions as I'm recording this. But I am ready. We're gonna start off with the questions that were DM'd to me that were asked to be anonymous. Same goes for Sarah. This is Ash's Grill, for those of you who don't know her from my stream.
Hello.
And so we're gonna answer your questions and let's get right into it.
So question number one is, what made you pursue League of Legends and Gears?
So I pursued League of Legends and Gears mostly because those are the two esports or games that really caught my interest. And, you know, that's what it's about. You know, you want to be passionate, you want to be interested in what you're involved in, and Gears of War was kind of like my first esports title. When I kind of left Gears of War, I tried Halo, I wasn't too into it, but League of Legends definitely caught that interest, and you know, it held me for many years. And then when I had the opportunity to move back into Gears with a great team, obviously I took it because Gears was, you know, the first one, but that's why those two have been specifically for me.
Question number two is, will you ever visit the OG Scuf house?
Probably. I mean, I think we're trying to plan something out, but nothing's really in the plans as of yet, so hopefully that's the goal.
Okay, question number three, do you think that Optic CSGO will win ECL2?
They have been looking really good lately. Whether or not they'll win ECL2, I'm assuming you mean E-League, right? Is that, I don't know what ECL2 is. I'm thinking that's E-League. In my head, I'm thinking that's E-League, so I'm gonna give it to them because obviously I gotta root for the green wall. What was your perception of Ash's reaction to joining Optic?
My perception of your reaction?
Yeah.
I mean, I was insanely excited. I think I was at work, wasn't I?
Were you?
Yeah, because I called you on, like, I took a break that I was supposed to take, and I called you when we were both freaking out. So we were both just insanely excited.
You were shaking the camera.
Pretty much just like ecstatic. I don't know about your reaction. We had the same reaction, so.
True.
Yeah. Do all the boys have a victory speech planned for Columbus due to the fact that we don't know who will get randomly interviewed?
No, we kind of just freeball the interview questions. It's, you know, whatever you're feeling in that moment, they go up there and say. Usually we try to get, you know, everybody a little bit of share of the screen time, but obviously people want to see Lava, they want to see Gilbert. Unless we're playing Envy, then they want to see Kenny. So they don't have anything pre-planned, they just speak from the heart.
Wait, what? I own slash build?
I own slash I'm building. Yeah, you have to add grammar for people.
Okay. I own slash am building a very small organization and was wondering what's the best way to stay motivated when things are slow?
Okay, so when things are slow and you're building an organization, you gotta remember what your end goal is. And honestly, your best bet is to set kind of smaller term goals for you to kind of work your way towards. That way you can always have that sense of accomplishment, right? So like, don't be like, okay, I want to be TSM, you know, I want to have 100,000 followers on Twitter and I want to have all these big sponsors or whatever. Like that's not realistic. Most orgs don't get that in the first year, let alone the first 2 years. So you want to be working towards like, okay, I want to be able to expand into this game. All right, I want to have the finances to be able to support this. All right, I want to lock down at least one good sponsor by this date. Like, set realistic goals for yourself and for your brand, and then continue to work from there. That way you're always feeling that sense of growth and accomplishment.
Why doesn't anybody from the team stream more or put out YouTube content? I didn't renew my sub with Explosive because he has only streamed one day since I subbed. Hex likes people who pumps out content. Just interesting, the best team in the game and the coach pumps out the most content.
So that's kind of a mixture of reasons. One, we've been having internet issues within the team. Mental, obviously, like he's always had internet issues. The few times that he tried to stream, it was kind of a struggle. Explosive has been having internet issues recently. His ISP changed, so it's hard for him to either upload while he's playing or stream while he's playing. Kenny can't stream in general because of his household has multiple people who play on Xbox or watch Netflix or whatever, so it makes the connection laggy for everybody when he does stream. But he does still upload videos. Lava still uploads occasionally. Summons is still uploading. In fact, I watched one of Summons' videos this morning, so they're still doing content. It's just we're coming into that crunch time. So between the internet issues and then the crunch time of, you know, we got the biggest event of our lives coming up in 4 days, that kind of puts a damper on actually creating the content and taking that time, because all of that time and energy is spent towards making sure that we have everything ironed out.
All right, at Extra Fart asks, have you been to Canada, and if so, where?
Yes, I've been to Canada. I was in Toronto, I want to say. I'm pretty sure it was Toronto. Yeah.
I know.
I went to Toronto when I was like 13 or 14. Beautiful city, loved it there. Or no, I think I was 15.
How much did you travel in high school?
A lot.
Jeez.
So yeah, I went there with my mom and my aunt and my cousin. So it was fun.
What's Toronto like?
It was a big city. I don't know. We did like the touristy stuff, and then we just kind of walked around. At Dovey Pones asks, how did you two meet? And what's your thoughts on the Gears community as a whole? Keep up the good work.
Okay, so how do we meet? Am I telling them the real story?
Yeah.
Okay. We met on Tinder. So, yeah, super romantic. But actually, the first time we met face to face.
Right.
The first time we met face to face was on the beach. So that's a little more romantic, even though you could have been a serial killer, but
I could have.
you weren't, so that's cool.
Not that bad.
What was the other question?
And your thoughts on the Gears community as a whole? That's probably for me. Unless it's
I mean,
for you.
I'll answer it.
Go ahead. What are your thoughts on the Gears community, babe?
Well, most of the Gears community I know is the Optic team, and I like them. I like the coach, especially most days. But other than that, I mean, I don't really know much about video games, so you answer that question now.
Nah, I think you did a good job. All right. At CIS for Victory asks, Sarah Gregg, how do you deal with the late night practices with him?
Usually I'm asleep. I sleep a lot. Sleep is one of my favorite activities. So if I'm not asleep, we'll either like talk beforehand sometimes, or I don't know. I get excited because like they do so awesome. So I'm excited for you guys to practice, and then I always want to know like if you did well, and if you're scrimmaging, like if you won. I don't know. I think it's exciting.
She really does ask me for updates. Like if I don't text her that night, like she'll ask me for updates in the morning. So
yeah, because you guys are awesome. So you need to keep it up.
yeah.
At PRYDX asks, any tips on how to keep movement flowing in fights, rolling at least as possible?
Honestly, it's just one of those things that you kind of have to practice and iron out on your own. Make sure that your sensitivity settings are comfortable for you. Like, don't try to just copy someone and make it work. A lot of people use alternate control schemes like tournament, or they use paddles or playing claw to help make movement feel or flow better. So all of those are good suggestions. Other than that, really just practice. I do have videos on my channel that are going over how to practice aiming and your sensitivity, as well as wall bouncing. So you can check those out, and that might help you.
At Mofar_ says, what do you think is the biggest challenge for the Gears community, as the scene is still a bit of a new esport?
I think the biggest challenge we're going to face is basically playing catch up. And as of right now, we're doing a good job. We've made leaps and bounds from where we were. Like, we're playing in like, arenas and stadiums now rather than hotel ballrooms. So that's a big jump up. And obviously the $1 million prize pool is great, and the big orgs getting involved. Like, all of that is awesome. But we are very juvenile in the way that we handle almost everything in terms of our organization and our practices and whatnot. No teams plan out their practices. So what I mean by that is, like, when I worked in League of Legends, I would know a week in advance every single time that my league team was supposed to be on and playing, and so did my players. And I would schedule those scrims a week, maybe even 2 weeks advanced, depending on who we were scrimming against. And so everybody knew exactly when to get on, when they were done, when they could schedule around stuff like that. Whereas Gears of War is still using Twitter as a, hey, who needs a scrim kind of thing, like in the moment. So it causes a lot of downtime, it causes a lot of waits that are just insanely inefficient, but it's hard to break old and bad habits. So there's a lot of examples that I could go into, but for the sake of the time in this video, that's going to be the one I'm using. But yeah, we are juvenile in the way we do it, but we're making the right strides to get up to where the other esports are.
X Swerve asks, what's your opinion on the eSports pack being shoved down our throat? All right.
The eSports packs aren't really being shoved down your throat. Like, nobody is forcing you to buy it. It's more just one of those things that if you want to support us in eSports, I say us, that probably doesn't sound right. If you want to support eSports, then you know that it's a way for you to do it. I do agree that it's being executed poorly, but I think it's their first attempt, so like you kind of got to give them slack with it, and you know it will. They're trying. Like they're doing the right things. It's not wrong. It's just not being done right, if that makes sense.
At Big Red 5218 asks, what's the hardest thing about coaching the Gears team?
Probably the dynamic personalities that I have on this roster. They're all awesome guys. They're all like little brothers, but they can absolutely drive me insane sometimes. And I love them to death, but I hate them so much. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate them at all. It's just, it's hard to work remotely with any team, and specifically in Gears of War, like obviously there's a lot of things that I would change, right? Like I would have the practices scheduled in advance, like I mentioned in a previous question, and I would enjoy to be able to like know what time we have to start and what time we get to end, so I can plan other things around that, and that's just not a thing right now. And on top of that, I think there are times where like, because we're remote, like people can just leave a Skype call or mute it or not pay attention or be distracted by something else, and that's never going to be efficient, because then I can't make sure that they're paying attention, right? It's not like the same as having a conversation one-on-one. So I think that's some of I don't even remember the question. I'm just rambling now.
Everything's easier in person.
Yeah.
What's the hardest
thing? Those are some of the hardest things about coaching the Gears team.
At Anchor for Thy Soul asks, what made you decide on the laptop you did? He's currently on the market.
Oh, all right. Well, the daring saga of the laptop for Ashes was a crazy ride of a story, but I decided on this laptop. My qualifications were weight, and which means size as well. And then the ability to edit videos and play some games kind of lightly, because there are going to be times where, you know, I'm a gamer and I want to play video games. But it's hard to find the right combination of parts inside of a laptop that's the right size, that's less than $1,000, which was like another big thing for me. And it took a long time and many stores and hours and frustration and complaining to her on the phone about how frustrated I was about it all.
100% true.
And I decided on this laptop because the Asus brand is awesome. They're ranked number 3 out of laptops right now. It goes Apple, Dell, Asus. So the Asus brand is awesome. It's 4.8 pounds, which, you know, I'm traveling a lot, so on my back, less strain. It has all the USB ports and media card reader port for my camera and all that stuff that I need. It has a GTX 970 graphics card, so it can handle gaming and it can handle video editing. 16 gigs of RAM, so it can handle video editing. i7 processor that's quad core, so it can handle video editing. All of that stuff, and I got it for $920 on Amazon. So I feel like I kind of hit the jackpot and love it.
At V4_Chinchi asks, with the big 300,000 tournament event this weekend, who do you think is your biggest threat, and are you ready for them?
I don't know who our biggest threat is. I think we're more focused on wanting to be prepared for anything rather than being prepared for individuals or individual teams. United's been playing the best against us online. I think Revenge is still going to be a strong team. We don't know much about the European teams or how they're going to show up on LAN, so there's always a wild card there, and whoever comes out of the open bracket. So, you know, we're just really trying to focus on being prepared for anything, since this is a big tournament. Our group is E6 and Epsilon, the number 1 seed out of Europe, and we're pretty confident going into that group that we'll be able to, you know, win that group. But E6 does play pretty well, so, you know, as long as we're on top of our game and we're playing our game, then I think we'll be fine. Was there a second part of that question?
And are you ready for them?
We're ready for everybody.
At 6IXJAR says, how did you meet the Optic guys?
I actually just sent Mental a DM on Twitter one day. I didn't know him, he didn't know me, and it was September, or like early September 2015, and yeah, I just messaged him saying, hey, I'm a manager in League of Legends, and I want to help you guys with sponsors. You guys have been doing well in tournaments, and I want to make sure that you guys don't get taken advantage of because you're all young. And he talked to the team, and they said, yeah, sure, why not? And it kind of stuck. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I might answer the questions if there are any in the YouTube comments of last week's video, but I'm not going to pull it up on my phone because I don't have a good signal. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Hey, look at you. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below if you... Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions for next week's video. As always, guys, thank you so much. Oh, while you're down there, click subscribe. Really appreciate the support. And that's going to do it. So I will see you all later.
Bye.